From the News Channel 5 Network, this is SportsLine.
All right, hey there. Welcome into SportsLine. Steve Layman here with you tonight as we break down what is the unfortunate and abrupt end of the Titans season. Losing on that last-second field goal by Evan McPherson from 52 yards out, coming right after the Ryan Tannehill interception. Of course, instead of moving on to the AFC Championship game and having the chance to host for the first time ever at Nissan Stadium, they fall and the season is over. We're going to get to your phone calls tonight. 737-7767 is the number, but I want to start right away with our reaction to the game. Jonathan Hutton from Outkick, Keith Bullock, former Titan great, myself, John Burton, and getting into the reaction. You can chime in after that. 737-7767, the number. We want to hear from you tonight. Your reaction to the loss, your reaction to the end of what was a great season, at least through the regular season, but a very, very disappointing end. But first, our reaction from the Electric Power Company's Sunday Sports Central. Well, no one saw that coming, especially in that fashion. But just like that, the season is over. Guys, where did it go wrong yesterday?
Well, it started off with the first interception, and then it just kept steamrolling. The Titans really couldn't get out of their way. You know, they would have some good things happen, and it seems like Zach Taylor may have Mike Vrabel's number.
Well, and that may be the case. And also, Keith, this is on the disastrous offense. Few things were sharp. Ryan Tannehill played tight. He was out of rhythm. His turnovers were a big issue that buried them. Questions should be asked about Todd Downing's play design, too. All of that is fair because after weathering all of the injuries, surviving without their best player, they wasted one of the top defensive performances in playoff history and turned in an offensive clunker. They burned a great opportunity, and we're going to be dissecting this one for a while.
Yeah, no question about it. Titans now 2-4 all-time in home playoff games, including 0-3 as the #1 seed. Take a look at the numbers with our Middle Tennessee Toyota dealers game stats. Titans outgained the Bengals by 8 yards, including a buck 40 to 65 on the ground, but they converted only 1 of 8 third downs, scored just 10 points in the red zone in 3 trips, and had those 3 turnovers. Time now for Hutton's keys to the game as this season-ending loss as we break it down. I'm not as enthusiastic after a season-ending loss. We're going to focus on the offense, Jay Hutt. There was so much hype about this offense with Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, and Julio Jones. We all know they battled through injuries and illnesses all season, but even when they were healthy, like yesterday, why were we never seemingly seeing them in sync?
Well, it starts with a common theme on Saturday and throughout the year. Another slow start. Regardless of who was in or out of the lineup, they routinely started slow. They failed to get a first down on an opening possession in 11 of their 17 games. They turned it over to begin games 3 times. This was an issue all year, not just a playoff storyline. And Saturday, at times, it looked like Cincinnati knew exactly what was coming, which tells you that they didn't change up most of their offensive plan.
Yeah, and of course, the chorus of those asking if Ryan Tannehill is capable of leading the Titans to a Super Bowl is going to only get louder. This is 3 straight playoff losses now, Jay Hutt. So I ask you, is number 17 the guy?
Well, he is for next season because they restructured his contract for the trade for Julio Jones. He counts nearly $39 million on the cap next year, $57 million if they cut him. They're not cutting him. He's helped them get to 3 straight playoff appearances, 2 division titles. But quarterbacks are judged on what they do in the postseason. And he's been awful in these last 2 years in postseason starts. Regular season Tannehill is really good. The playoff version, 7 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in 5 postseason games. It's that version that's creating a lot of questions about how far he can actually take this group.
Tannehill with more interceptions this year than his first 2 seasons with the Titans combined. For more on him, we head over to the smart screen with Steve and KB.
Yeah, time now for Bullock's breakdown. And Keith, we know the NFL is a quarterback-driven league, and ultimately those quarterbacks are judged by what they do in the playoffs. What did you see from Ryan Tannehill right from the start yesterday?
Definitely not his best stuff. Like you said, the playoffs is where you're judged, and right out of the gate, you know, forcing it in to Julio Jones, interception picked. You like to see Ryan Tannehill make more plays in the playoffs, which he hasn't done in the past, nor this game. This is a huge opportunity right here to make a play to AJ downfield. You know, this is just a great play by the Bengals, but unfortunate for the Titans and Ryan Tannehill. And right here on this third down, he's trying to make a play, but once again, forcing it. It's like, to me, getting home field, playing the great football he did all year, you would like to see him come into the playoffs with all the experience that he has, making more plays for the Titans, not against.
A disastrous finish to a forgettable day for the Titans QB. His teammates backed him up publicly after the game, but did the coaching staff lose faith on this final drive? What were you thinking as you saw how casual they were with the time here late?
Yeah, you see the time running down. It's a minute 30, tick, tick, tick.
They're in the huddle.
They're in the huddle. They're not getting up to the line. Okay, you think maybe they're going to force it downfield, try and get a big chunk and maybe get in field goal range for us, but instead we're dumping it off and once again walking slow to the line. There was no sense of urgency in this final drive. Immediately I thought maybe they were just going to try and take some time off to not leave the Bengals time on the clock, but no sense of urgency. And right here, you're going to see the third down play that ultimately ended the Titans' offensive season. Tight coverage, bunch of Bengals around, and I don't know if the coaching staff lost faith in him, but they definitely weren't doing anything to get the ball downfield.
Just thinking there's no way you lose at that late game.
Not at all.
And then all of a sudden it's the Bengals ball and a chance for Joey B.
Yeah, guys, Tannehill's mistakes set the stage for Joe Burrow to lead the Bengals to their first ever road playoff win. Burrow is our Zaxby's player of the game, 348 yards, and made the plays that presented themselves under serious pressure to improve to 2-0 now in the playoffs.
They had a great rush plan. They made it tough on us, made it tough on me, disguising coverages and blitzes. This one was really, really hard. Apparently this is what playoff football this deep into January is like.
You heard Burrow talk about how difficult the Titans' pressure made it on him. A playoff record-tying 9 sacks, including 3 from Jeff Simmons. How did this guy not make the Pro Bowl?
Big Jeff, one of my favorite players in a Titans uniform. You know, small market. We always get overlooked down here. You know, myself, I was a 3-time All-Pro and 1-time Pro Bowler. Big Jeff was a 2nd-team All-Pro this year. That holds more weight than Pro Bowl, but you know, he's very deserving of the Pro Bowl, all the accolades he gets, and was the engine that helped this defense go all year. Very consistent and definitely deserving of any accolade that he gets. Unfortunately, it wasn't Pro Bowl.
Yeah, and he was the catalyst yesterday for a terrific defensive effort.
Saturday's loss spoiled the otherwise triumphant return of Derrick Henry to the lineup. His first game since suffering a broken foot back on Halloween. Henry picked up 62 yards on 20 carries with a touchdown, and the King said he was feeling fine afterward.
I felt good, and you know, I tried to do the best I can to contribute and do my part to help us win. You know, just work to get better the whole offseason, and we'll see what happens.
Guys, Derrick Henry certainly provided an emotional lift at the start of the game. Carried the ball 20 times. Keith, how did he look? How healthy did he look?
Well, he looked very healthy. He looked like himself. I kind of likened the performance to the first game of the season. I think his timing was off with the Layman. That's what we were seeing. He didn't have that pop, that freshness, but he definitely looked healthy out there yesterday.
In all, the Titans ran for 140 yards between Henry and Deontay Foreman. But, Jonathan, they get stopped on the 2-point conversion and then stuffed 3rd and 4th and 1. How frustrating is that for a team that prides itself on winning in the trenches?
You said it, very. I mean, this offense is built for these moments. And like their game plan, they fell flat in this area. The Titans offense, they want to deliver a punch. They want to be tough and physical at the point of attack. And on those 3 short yardage plays, yes, we can question the call and question the execution. But the Bengals won those reps against the Titans' strength. And when you can't get movement on the line of scrimmage, the ball carriers aren't going to go that far. Their bread and butter didn't win at crunch time.
That is very disappointing for this team indeed. All right, there was our pretty much initial reaction to what happened on Saturday from the Electric Power Company's Sunday Sports Central. Now I want to get your thoughts on the game. 737-7767. What did you think throughout? What did you think about the way the game ended? with Ryan Tannehill's interception on a possession where it felt like the Titans did not have a whole lot of urgency with what they were doing. They said afterwards, you know, with the Bengals offense as explosive as it was, that you want to try to milk the clock as much as possible and make sure that the last snap of the game is yours. And hopefully that's a field goal to try to win. I largely agree with that, but I think you have to play on the defensive side of the field, on your side of the 50, with some level of aggressiveness, because you have to get into position where you can milk the clock. I think the Titans did it backwards. It's like they were milking the clock from their own 30-yard line and were nowhere near a position where they could win the game. And then they got themselves down on the clock, and in a third down situation, you throw a pass and it gets deflected and picked off. Now, it's a great play defensively. Maybe a throw Ryan Tannehill shouldn't have made. He certainly had an under route that probably gets them the first down there. But I didn't like the entire way that that possession went for the Titans. And I think a lot of other people out there are like that. What did you think about that? And how disappointing is this for the Titans, considering everything that was in front of them? The number 1 seed, the bye, people were getting healthy. Derrick Henry was back. An absolute electric atmosphere at Nissan Stadium. And the chance to then play an AFC Championship game with a win at home again in probably an atmosphere that would be even better for the chance to get to the Super Bowl. How disappointing does this one rank up there on your list of disappointments with sports teams, whether that be the Titans or anybody else? Love to hear from you tonight. 737-7767, the number. And it was a day where the stadium was electric. The mood was grand. Playoff football was back with a full capacity crowd at Nissan Stadium, because last year it was just 14,000 because of COVID. First time since 2008 where it was packed for a playoff game. It was a sunny afternoon. Derrick Henry was back. I'm not sure I've ever seen an introduction that was as robust and energetic as it was when Derrick Henry got introduced on Saturday afternoon. But all of that electricity got sucked out of the stadium on the very first play. That interception by Ryan Tannehill on the play-action pass. And I didn't like that for a ton of reasons. One, I think Tannehill was late on the ball. Two, I think the Titans overthought the situation. They thought Derrick Henry's back in the game. The Bengals are going to line everybody up. They're going to crash hard, and we're going to have a chance to make a play down the field. I think the Bengals thought the exact same thing. So they played a defense to pressure up on the line of scrimmage, really have a run-stopping defense in, but they alerted the back end, specifically Jesse Bates, do not bite. And you will look on the play action, Jesse Bates doesn't budge. He is ready for exactly what is about to come. And it's also a situation that the Titans run that look a lot. That type of a look, they run a ton. There's no backside help there. There's guys out there, two guys, two routes on the right side of the field. A.J. Brown's the clear. Julio's supposed to come through the seam, and it should be a big play, except for Jesse Bates is all over it. And between him reading the play and Ryan Tannehill being late, it's an interception on the first play of the game. And right then, the stadium, it felt different. And obviously, you were trying to get back into it all day long. Now, the defense was incredible. 9 sacks, ties a playoff record. They kept themselves in the game in the first half. When the Bengals had opportunities to jump out to a bigger lead, it was the defense getting a sack and forcing a field goal. But there are a lot of missed opportunities. There's a third down play on the Titans' third possession where A.J. Brown probably is going to be open. Tannehill's pass gets tipped. No conversion. Titans end up 1 of 8 on the day on third downs. On the next possession, first down play action, A.J. Brown's open. It's open. And whether he broke in a little too far or whether Tannehill just overthrew him, it's not a connection on what could have been a touchdown and an enormous play at that point of the game. It was missed opportunities early for the offense. Finally, in the second quarter, A.J. big play, Julio big play, Derrick Henry turning off some big runs, and finally, Derrick punches it in for a touchdown. But a penalty on Cincinnati gives Mike Vrabel the idea, hey, the ball's at the 1-yard line, we're moving the ball well, we can go with Derrick and just punch it in and get 2 points right here. They go for 2, and Derrick gets stopped short. So now, all of a sudden, after everything, you should have the lead, but it's 6-6. It's 9-6 at the half. It's 16-6 after the Bengals score on their opening drive of the second half. Really, their only sustained drive of the day, only touchdown they were able to get during the course of the day. But now, all of a sudden, you're up against it. It's the middle of the third quarter, and you're down by 10 in an elimination playoff game as the number 1 seed. Titans needed some big-time A.J. Brown catches that felt like life support in that game. In the third quarter, fourth quarter, they got the running game going. I think you love that, but you fight your way back to get to a position to tie the game up. Thanks to Amani Hooker's amazing interception and then the pass to A.J. Brown. But then the fourth quarter again, I don't understand the game management in that situation. It's not all on Mike Vrabel. I don't have a problem with the decision to go for it on fourth down. I have a problem with what they elected to do third and fourth down. Titans are in position to take the lead for the first time in the game. And they're sitting right there, and they elect to go for it. It's 3rd and 1. Okay, that's fine. But here's the deal. You have been a dominant running team. Line up and either get it, or on 3rd and 1, if you're determined that you're going to go for it on 4th and 1, take a shot. I wish I had the video here, because go back and look at the play on 3rd and 1. The matchups that the Titans have there, it is all man-to-man. Everybody on the field is in man coverage, including Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. Take a play-action shot there, and if you don't get it, you go for it again on 4th down with something more conservative about picking up 1 yard. But if this is about winning the football game, go for it there. Take a shot. See if you can get that home run ball and maybe take the lead on that play. But instead, the Titans run this zone read concept, which has been incredibly effective for them. So I know why they went to it. Over the years, when they run that zone read in short yardage, everybody bites with Derrick Henry. And Ryan Tannehill makes a great decision, runs oftentimes for much more than just what's necessary. He scored a ton of touchdowns off of that exact play. But you've got Henry coming back, maybe not, at least timing-wise, at 100% yet. So maybe the defense doesn't go to him quite as hard. But here's the other thing. You know who was around when Ryan Tannehill learned how to run that zone read concept in college and then in the NFL as perfectly as he runs it? Bengals coach Zach Taylor. You know who spoke last week on multiple different occasions throughout the course of the week on how good Ryan Tannehill is running that zone read concept and getting on the edge in short yardage situation? Bengals coach Zach Taylor. So you know who wasn't at all surprised when the Titans lined up in a shotgun formation with Henry to the side of Tannehill in a short yardage situation there? The entire Bengals defense. They were ready for it. They didn't bite, and they were absolutely ready for the fake to take down Tannehill. And then on 4th down, you know it's going to be power. You know it's going with Henry, and they get stuffed. I mean, you could have run 2 quarterback sneaks and almost certainly gotten in that situation. They outthought the room, or they went with the trends. And that's another critique I think you have to have out of this game on the offense and Todd Downing. The Titans very rarely run RPO. Zone read, some of that, yeah. But run pass option very infrequently. And when they do, it's always essentially a check at the line. It's not built into the play. It's okay, I see this look at the line. Instead of running the trap, we're going to throw a screen, or we're going to do this, we're going to do that. That's how the Titans' RPO game is. The Titans run a couple RPOs in this game, and the Bengals were all over them. Absolutely all over them, including after that drive in the third quarter where the Titans ran the ball down their throats. Deontay Foreman, 45-yard run. They get down 1st and goal. It's an RPO look. Again, shotgun with Henry next to you. You got wide receivers out to both sides. Tannehill gets the look to check into the pass. And he does. It's the automatic check. But you know who knows exactly what's coming? Is nickelback Mike Hilton, who's coming on a blitz. He knows exactly where Tannehill's going to go against this coverage. He almost did it in the first half. He almost jumped out of the blitz lane directly into the line. Titans completed it and got like 1 yard because their RPOs don't really work in the passing game. But here, Hilton sees it again, and this time he doesn't even bother on the blitz to the quarterback. He immediately sprints parallel to the line of scrimmage to try to get his hand on the pass outside, and he does. It's a great play by a defender, but it's a play that happens because the Titans are incredibly predictable with the RPO game. When they line up like that, if you give them a certain look, there is a way to tell what's coming. And the Bengals were all over it. Specifically, Mike Hilton, that came up with a huge interception on that play that at the time looked like it doomed the Titans' chances. But there were some tendencies in this game that the Bengals took advantage of from the Titans, specifically when the Titans had the ball. And that ultimately became a problem. And again, that last drive, I mean, it's a tie game. There's 2 minutes to go. You got to be aggressive to try to win the game. Because I don't know about you, I didn't want to go to overtime in that game. I didn't want to be the home team with all the pressure, the #1 seed, with Joe Burrow on the other side, and possibly lose a coin flip. No, thank you. I want no part of that in a playoff game. If you have the ball at the end of the game to try to win it, I mean, you got to go for it. And the Titans, they'll say, look, we were going for it. We were just trying to run out, bleed off the clock, and get it so we could kick a last-second field goal. I mean, that's fine, best laid plans, but you have to get yourself in that position. That third down play with 28 seconds left, they were still on their side of the 50. They would have had to have complete that, call timeout, and still get another first down to have a chance at a field goal. And they started the possession with 2:43 left, 2 timeouts, and the 2-minute warning. I just think it was a mismanagement of the time that put themselves in a position where, all right, well, now you need the third down. You try to force it in there, and you have the interception. Lots to be second-guessing about after the fact in this one. We're going to go to the phones here, 737-7767. Say hello to Eric. Eric, thanks for the call. You start us off here tonight on SportsLine.
Hey, good morning, Steve. I want to talk about some observation about the game. You already touched on some. I, for one, was at the game because I'm a season ticket holder, been having some health issues, but I was at the playoff game.
Good.
And, like you said, it was just so frustrating. Like, first, at pick, which was frustrating, then going forward on 2, which we shouldn't have done. We should have kicked the extra point. Another thing, you didn't mention this, but this is also what was frustrating to me. A couple other things. We didn't go to the tight end. I think Ferguson was one target. And that was frustrating. Of course, that's something we're going to have to look at in the offseason. But also, here's another thing that was really frustrating, where I guess it was Dante Foreman. He had 4 carries, 66 yards. He had that big run, and the next play, Tannehill throws his second pick, where I guess he was trying to throw a screen pass out in the flat. He couldn't have made a spectacular play. I got to give him credit for that. But we're inside the 9-yard line. Why didn't we run the ball more? Why was not Dante Foreman used more? I understand you got Henry, and I'm not saying bench him or anything like that, but it seemed like he had the hot hand, and I felt like Dante Foreman was not used enough. That was another thing that was frustrating. Like you said, the 3rd and 4th downs, I didn't have a problem going for it. I didn't like the formation. Maybe on 3rd down you try to play action pass, but I agree, Tannehill should not have been the shotgun. He should have had like a direct snap where he sneaked it, and Derrick Henry on 4th down, he was like a couple of yards back behind Tannehill, which I thought made absolute no sense. Why wasn't he lined up closer? It's just And you're right, it looked like Cincinnati knew what we were doing. And then the real frustrating was the end of the game clock management, where maybe they need to be heard, maybe they didn't. I don't know. He said took a couple timeouts left. I thought they probably could have ran the play for a 2-minute warning. But the frustrating thing is just the way we do that and then throw the pick. And then the next thing you see Patrick Mahomes in 13 seconds go downfield, get a field goal to force overtime,
right,
and then they win the game. I mean, it's just – I just don't understand that. And now you've also, of course, got the offseason next year. Who's going to be back? Who's not? Like, both on offense and defense. Like, I definitely think Jack Rabbit Jenkins is gone. Are you going to be able to sign Harold Landry? Because I'm not sure if you can or not, because another team's definitely going to make a big offer for him, and are we going to be able to match that? You've got Zach Cunningham. Is he back? And on offense, you've got the situation with Dante Foreman. He may decide he wants to go to another NFL team if he gets a good offer. He's going to leave. I'd hate to lose it, but you can't blame him. You've got the offensive line issues with Saffold back. I definitely don't think Ben Jones is back. And Taylor Lewan's supposed to say he's back. But I believe unless he restructures his deal or takes a pay cut, I don't think he's going to be back. He, of course, was injured 2 years ago and last year. I mean, and then this past year, he's been hurt, been in and out of the lineup. So I just can't see him coming back for that big of a money, not being in the lineup. You also wonder not whether Brett Kern's going to come back. He's 36. The punter, if he's going to be back or not. You've also got the situation with the kicker, even though Bullock was the kicker and everything, but he didn't have a good performance with his kicks on Sunday. And I forget who the person was that was injured as our kicker. Will he be back, or will they draft a kicker? Yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see all the moves made, and it's just so frustrating to see the number 1 seed blown like that. And this is the third time it's happened. You just don't know. You know, especially with all the quarterbacks in the future like Burrow, Josh Allen, Mahomes, Justin Herbert. You still got Lamar Jackson out there, the whole situation with Deshaun Watson. I mean, what's going to happen?
Yep.
I mean, I'll get off and let you get to some other callers, but it's just so frustrating to see just a golden opportunity like this wasted. Take care, Steve. We'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, thanks, Eric, and best of luck with the health for sure. Prayers on that situation for you. So much good stuff there. We talked about the run pass option at the 9-yard line, 1st and goal. I mean, that's what it was. It was a called run play with an alert to a pass. And the Bengals defense turned on the alert. They passed into it because of the defense. Mike Hilton makes a great play. I agree on the 3rd and 4th down calls. I agree in the 2-minute warning. And here's the thing. You talk about all those quarterbacks, and we watched 2 of them on Sunday. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Do you think either one of those coaching staffs with 2:43 left is taking it down to the 2-minute warning, or taking it below that and letting it tick, 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 tick? No. They're going after it. They're going to win it. They're going to put it on their defense. That's what they're going to do. They're going to go down the field and try to score. And not even say, we're going to go down the field and try and get a field goal. They're saying, we're going to go down the field and try and score a touchdown in that situation. They scored 5 times in the final minute 54 between those 2 quarterbacks on Sunday. It was one of the greatest games we ever saw. But both coaches put the faith in the quarterback and the offense to go make a play. It wasn't like, go make a play and try not to score here because we don't want to leave time for the other team. It was go make the play, and they did, and eventually your defense has to make a play, which didn't happen in that game. But the Titans' defense was great in this game. With 2:43 left, look, you can't be crazy with it because you're backed up inside your 20. But here's the deal. They get a run on the 1st down. I think you could have run another play before the 2-minute warning pretty easily, not in any hurry. But even letting it go to the 2-minute warning, they come out. It's a 15-yard pass to Julio. Now you're out of the danger zone. Even if you don't get a 1st down, Kern's going to punt it to the 25 or something along those lines, which puts your defense in a pretty good position at that point. And then to have no energy or no urgency just made no sense to me, because you could have run the football on 1st and 2nd down if you wanted, but do it with some pace or use your timeouts. You had your entire playbook at your disposal if you wanted to have it at that point. And the worst thing is you don't get it on 3rd down and you punt. I did not like the way they approached the end there, and ultimately the Bengals got a shot, which should have never happened with that. But A very, very disappointing end there. And the opportunity lost, as Eric alluded to there, is huge. Because Joe Burrow's not going anywhere. He just beat you on Saturday. He's now in the AFC Championship in his second year, and he's going to be around in Cincinnati for a long time to come. Patrick Mahomes isn't going anywhere. Josh Allen isn't going anywhere. Lamar Jackson probably going to be healthy back in Baltimore. Justin Herbert in LA. Those guys look like legitimate quarterbacks for a long time to come. You're going to have to deal with all those guys. This year, the Titans set themselves up with home field and a really good team, and they didn't win it. And that is really, really frustrating if you're a Titans fan. Sneak one more call in here. Say hello to Ulyss. Ulyss, good evening.
All right, how you doing?
Good.
Okay, all I have to say, you win as a team, you lose as a team. Only bad thing I hate, that front four put a show on. They set the quarterback 9 times and still lose the game. And I guess Tannehill had a bad hair day and didn't show up. Well, all I can say, man, just get ready for next year and just hope for the best. That's all I have to say.
All right, Ulyss.
All right.
Yeah, thank you for the call. That's all you can do now. You can try to use his motivation. A huge chunk of this team will be back. There's a good core here. I don't think this team's disappearing, but you only get opportunities like you had in this postseason so many times. And you have to be able to take advantage of it when they present themselves, and the Titans didn't in this situation. Phone lines are open, 737-7767. Would love to hear from you tonight. We got to take a break, though. We'll get to that. Back to more phone calls and analysis as well as SportsLine continues here on News Channel 5+.